Hey, 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 welcome. You are on the scene. I'm your girl, Racheal J, and I have the multi-talented visionary, Mr. Matthew Salter. Woo! What up, Matt? What up?
How you doing, sis? How you doing?
How you doing? This is my
Doing great,
boy.
Queen. I'm doing great. Just living life, creating visions, like you said, executing, most importantly, and just staying humble and blessed. Amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on the scene.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, absolutely. This is my boy. You know, we've done interviews before. You know, we talked about some of the things you're getting into. Your SAG-AFTRA. You know, you've been on the Shy, Market Value, Shameless. You got some different things going on. So tell me, you know, being a SAG-AFTRA actor, you know, is the game changing for people of color, you know, out here in Chi-Town? You know, are the opportunities finally there? Have we made it, or do we have a long road to go?
Let's just specifically answer your question about the Chicago African American, you know, kind of Hollywood scene, which it really is a Hollywood scene, like in itself.
Yep.
Atlanta's kind of having that similar boom.
Yep.
I feel like it is a great wave. Obviously, being a black man myself, and talking with a beautiful black woman, I feel like there's so many positions that are just now. It's like I brought this up in my last interview, kind of with the hidden figures and those kind of stories with Taraji. And it's just like, I'm glad that, I mean, they're being told, but sometimes it's like, it's not too late, but it's like, why did it take so long?
Right.
And I'm glad things are starting to come to fruition a little bit earlier. You're starting to see a lot more historical, a lot more, you know, I'm glad, you know, with the success of things like Black Panther, the success of things like, there's a lot of Fences when it first came out, just as a dramatic piece. It was a playwright from obviously August Wilson, a black man. Denzel adapted with Viola Davis. They all had to play together on Broadway and take that same cast to the theaters and theatrically, that kind of thing. And just even like Empire, us specifically sticking to Chicago when it came in the production, like 2012, 13. More 2013, 14, but at the end of the day, when that came to Chicago, there were so many opportunities just for the minority, not just black, but Latino, women, LGBTQ community. There was a lot of different, like, because with, you know, obviously one of the prominent characters being Jamal.
Right.
And it's like, it just opened up a way for so many people in the real communities.
Yes.
And so it was just dope, especially for it to be in Chicago, and obviously it's portrayed in New York, but I think, you know, and I know us, you know, having worked on the show, it has adapted Chicago as a second home. The actors, the production, everything. So I think it's great what's going on in Chicago. And I think seeing also sticking to the filmmakers like Lena Waithe, someone I truly looked up, and she's the definition of a visionary. Yes. What she's done with The Shy, what she, you know, being acting in Steven Spielberg films, what she did in Ready Player One. Writing when she won an Emmy for Masters of None with Aziz Ansari. It's just so many facets and layers to her talent. And she's a young woman and queen herself. So it's just like to see that kind of inspiration from the seed, the hometown. There's only so much that you can go from.
Yes, absolutely. And then we have, and I definitely feel like, you know, African Americans, we've been fighting for years, you know, and the door is finally opening because we're finally creating our own stuff, and we're using our money to go towards, you know, showing us as doctors, lawyers, and in different positions to show us in a different light. And, you know, so everybody else is trying to get in here too, because you know, the movie, what is it, Crazy Rich Asians?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh my God, I want to see that so bad, and I'm so excited because, you know, the Asian community.
And they received it well so far, from what I'm seeing. Like, and and, you know, people get, it's like back in the day they had Coming to America, it was an African thing. They had My Big Fat Greek Wedding, early 2000s, and they had all these cultural kind of, you know, movies, and now it's like you see it, and I think it's obviously a different climate in just the world, society, politics, obviously, but with that kind of thing, like I like to see, and it's not just about all exclusively a cast of this race, but it's cool to see that Hollywood itself takes a chance, and not even just a chance, but gives them fair opportunities to everybody of every culture, every background, every community. So I think that everybody deserves a shot to tell their stories, fiction, nonfiction, true stories, made-ups, written stories. Everybody has real things from their communities, their families. It's a lot to tell. So and you think about it, the cinema, the art of cinema has really only been around for almost just over 100 years, really. Just a little bit over 100 years, and that's really a short amount of time. So within that time, we've only really got about, speaking just on behalf for all of for our community and being a filmmaker, actor, and producer, a lot of things in this thing. I feel like we're just now cracking the shell a little bit of because it's been great. Yeah, it was just crazy. At one point, we had to wait for a Denzel. We had to wait for a Will Smith or whatever kind of movie to come out and be like, oh, we're Jamie Foxx and we're gonna all go.
It was a select amount of people. That's gonna be in every film, and we're gonna letting them through the door. Y'all gotta wait. So it's nice that because we decided to fight back and we decided to start using our money towards making our own films and building our own production companies, just like you working on building an entertainment company as well. So let us know a little bit about that.
Yes, ma'am. FTC Productions Media.
FTC
that's still in the works. Licensing is getting in the development phases, but standing for the culture.
Yes,
we out here trying to move the culture and not just black culture, but I'm talking entertainment. I'm talking about art. I'm talking about thinking, consciousness, just being of the culture, opening up and being awakened to everybody's issues, everybody's triumphs, everybody's ugliness, everybody's beauties, because there's so much. You can't just be biased on one side. It's like Spike Lee, a personal mentor of mine, when he came here for Chirac and they did the production for about 2-3 weeks. After about the third or fourth day, we was on first name basis talking about things from the Chicago Bulls back when Mike, and he could tell maybe he could tell a few different things that he was dealing with a Bulls fan, but I let it be known, and he let it be known very much in his New Yorker way. We got that year was ironic. That obviously I'm a big 2K fan, and he did the my career story mode for the actual video game that year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he directed that on the event, and we just had a lot in common. And it was just there. So by the end of the rap, there was some things he had left me with and to talk about, and so basically with that he had said, you want to capture everything, because when he's actually shooting the production, he's just saying there's a tendency in Hollywood that people just want to do too much of the good or too much of the bad. But anything in life is balance. So when you capture a little bit of great, catch a little bit of ugly, and that's why things like Do the Right Thing, Jungle Fever, all these kind of like School Days, even Crooklyn, just as a family, I feel every black person could really look at that movie and say like, if not for the whole movie, at least one or couple scenes that you've experienced and have, so that kind of film and learning from greats just themselves firsthand, it's been a blessing. So to have you said, like, speaking upon my own independent production company, obviously looking still, gaining investors and investments for productions, distributors, business consultants and other mentors. Those are things that just having a good relationship and network and a professionalism and credibility to your name that carries weight further than any kind of talent. So you could be the most talented person in the world, but if you have trash attitude or you got entitlement attitude, because there's a lot of people in this game going in and just life too, that they think they owe something, that they think God's greatest gift to whatever they're doing, and it's like, that's why you see these people, Denzel, you see these or Meryl Streeps and Viola, they have these lengthy careers and they're able to win awards in their 50s and because they're humble and they recognize their blessings. And even if they know things didn't go the way it should have been or they couldn't control, they carry on with their work, they help the community, they uplift, they empower, and that's all I want to do with film, through art, through media and cinema. So my whole production scheme, just to summarize, is to convey emotion through visual art.
Oh,
and that's what I'm loving to do through content. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, because we are such emotional beings. So when you find something you can connect to and something that changes your life, you can go from one minute wanting to commit suicide, or 1 minute just not knowing where your path is going to lead. Then somebody comes, a visionary comes with this documentary or film or something, and it can change your life. I know movies have changed my life.
Absolutely.
So,
and speaking on, I'm glad you brought up the word documentary. So speaking on actual productions and content that we are doing. So one thing at a time, starting off with the film that this is my first directing credit, first writing credit, will be official on IMDb. My also second producing credit. I'll talk about the first one, which has been recent in the last 2 weeks. Sticking on this film, Blended. Thank you very much. Blended, the documentary, which is the working title right now, but Blended is a musical. As I pitch it to people so far, it's a musical documentary. It's basically Hoop Dreams meets aspiring artists right now in the Chicago scene. So I have friends that were just here, like Brilliant, Anthony Forbes, who you guys just interviewed on the scene this past Friday. One of my friends personally, and also obviously he explained his musical background in depth. Y'all check that interview out. He is in there. My friend JR, he goes by the DJ name of Static, Statik. He does EDM, house music, dubstep production. He's actually toured the country, opened up for some actually really big Man Be on the Beach this summer, North Coast, so all these festivals. So he did Red Rocks actually in Colorado. So so that's we filmmaking, getting out here, getting footage like that. Couple of my friend Ike, MC, rapper, got the Kendrick Lamar conscious, got the real story background, coming from where he's come from, the West Side of Chicago, dealing with what he's dealt with and the situations up, down. I'm not gonna go in his business on here, but when you listen to his music, you'll hear some deep stuff. It's a Pac, Kendrick vibe, but just keeping it real Chicago. And also, there's a few other young ladies, R&B pop vocalists. They still in the development stage of being in the film, so they want me to keep that. But basically, there's a lot of artists who I want to just see. You know, it would be interesting to see Prince in high school, Michael Jackson when he was a little kid before the Jackson 5 pop, or Dr. Dre. I mean, you see all these little snippets in Straight Outta Compton, or these documentaries like the Defiant ones on HBO. But when you see Ice Cube's son playing, when O'Shea Jackson Jr. is playing him in high school, I really like to see somebody with a film.
Just before,
Absolutely, he was even Doughboy or Cube in NWA. So this is before I know these young these people, my friends, these young women and men, before they get to that next level of whether it be like you talked about with Anthony, a record label or independent, whether it be what success is defined in different terms by different people. So
it really is,
to say this, I feel like all these people have already made successful music, have played for the Obamas of the world, Carnegie Hall, this and that, traveled to Red Rocks. But I mean, these people have international talent and a lifelong legacy. So I'm just trying to capture my personal friends. And it's also not just music, it's Chicago culture, day-to-day aspects in the studio, on stage performance, just live footage from their parents. So I'm just trying to capture reality, and that's authenticity is my biggest factor in filmmaking. So this documentary is planned to be, I'm in the editing and filming stage since of March. So I've been filming honestly, and if I have to, I don't want to rush the process. So I might just finish up till December, the end of the year, and then start editing in January and start to, compile the trailer, pitch, and everything to the streaming services by by middle of 2019 next year. So that is that, and then sorry for talking so much, but the second project is the executive producer that I just gained official IMDb credits for and signed a contract for on wax. That is called The Nest with Lakefront Pictures. Shout out to Jennifer. Shout out to Ryan. Happy birthday, Ryan, and shout out to Jessica.
Happy birthday.
We had a production staff meeting actually 2 weekends ago, and that's when I first got involved. I was privy to see the trailer and some footage that wasn't that is disclosed from the public, and just from that only the team saw. And there's not too much I can say. Signing an NDA. Also, I get about some NDAs with acting, but sticking on the production. I've delivered already some funding from different investors locally and throughout Los Angeles, having different relationships and networks and reporters. I'm very proud of just being able to reach out and branch out, and people trust me with their money, trust me with the product, and that says something about my brand, and especially money is there. So and it's not everything that but in business terms, and so that to secure that credit within a week of signing that contract, having it up, going to be on IMDb, funding the money for the movie to actually be shown at the it already had been submitted and got it in, but I had got the funds for the actual production and other staff and us to get out there. So it's the Tyranny. I don't want to butcher it, but it's a South Carolina Film Festival in October 10th to the 12th, I believe. But it is in mid-October, so we got the funding. I secured that. I'm going to be doing a lot of pitching to streaming services, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. Right.
That's definitely where it's at nowadays.
Absolutely.
You know, people are dropping, even in, because I want to get into talking about your niece, because when you mentioned that, because I don't know if he's the director, writer, producer, you know, of Blackish and Grownish.
Kenya Barris.
Did he just sign like $100 million?
With Netflix.
With Netflix.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and just you know, what we're talking about is his niece is I don't want to put Yara Shahidi, which is
Zoe.
You know, Zoe on
both Black and Grownish.
Oh yeah, Grownish is the spin-off.
It's the different world to a
Blackish. Yes. So this is his niece, you know. So definitely that spirit, that fight, that tenacity, that passion. It runs in the family. You know, she's activist, definitely an academic scholar. You know, very beautiful young woman, inside and out. And
Michelle Obama, we were just speaking on there about it. Was just crazy. She was the one who wrote her college recommendation on her behalf. So for any person out of the 7 billion people in the world to get a recommendation on behalf of to Harvard institution, not a bad thing to have Miss Obama have it.
Wow.
So she makes me so proud as an uncle. Just not even with the fame, not with the celebrity. That of course makes me proud.
Head on straight.
That's what makes me.
That girl's head is like.
That's what's right.
He's locked
regardless if she had been Yara on A-list or Yara who had just been doing her schoolwork, I'm still proud of her for how she carries herself. I just want to say all my nieces and nephews. Cameron, who is a freshman at Spelman this year, HBCU, following in her mother's footsteps. Remedia, shout out my big brother Kevin. She just graduated from Whitney Young this summer, so she's a little smarty pants out here. My other niece. Corey, she's out here, Whitney Young, doing her thing, tennis, scholar, she's amazing, she's going to do the thing. And then my 2 little nephews, Saeed and Hassan, the mini-me's, they're out there in California. Those are Yara's younger brothers and playing ball, acting. But just to stick on Yara, for the acting portion, she's been really focused and central on not just celebrity, which is what I feel, not just herself, but sticking in the Black community. A lot of ego, and that's not just to say in our community, but you see it more so. It's like only one of us can have the ball at a time. When it's Kevin Hart's time, you see this kind of. Does this bring up a real example? Yes. Mike Epps and Kevin Hart in the recent last few weeks, going back, you know, on social media, and it just looks, you know, kind of foolish. These are 2 grown, successful men coming from where they came from, the streets of Philly, the streets of Indianapolis. Mike Epps respectively, and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart. And to see where they came from and to where they at, chilling in the hills and doing, y'all blessed. Ain't no reason, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, and you see this, and they in their 40s and 50s, and it's like I can't, and I can only imagine, you know, the Michael B. Jordans, the other, like, just we all, and to even go into you, the Shania Layton, Margaret Layton, to getting all these different. It's kind of a game of dividing, and not kind of. It is a game of dividing conquer.
It is.
We just have to stay strong enough as a community, not just Black, minority, women, LGBTQ, everybody, and white folk. Everybody just needs to be inclusive of each other, and just trust another, and have respect, even if you don't understand. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to convey with this art.
You don't have to understand it, but you need to respect.
And that's what makes people fear. And talking about my mentor Spike, just saw Black Klansman 2-3 times.
Gosh, I so want to see that. I know it's gonna be hot.
No spoilers, but y'all, this really is one of his top, I'll say 5 bodies of work.
Yes.
And the fact that it's a true story, y'all know the Chappelle skit, the Clayton Bigsby.
Oh my God.
The whites and blacks and that is hilarious and everything like that. But when you see these real, you know, depictions of what happened to this African American officer, how insidious and how insidious and crazy that this can be coincided almost 40 years later, exactly from 79 when this was happening to Charlottesville last year, and it's about 2 years, and next year it'll be 2 years from that, so basically 40 years. And you know, I'm not going to give anything too much away, but they do incorporate some Charlottesville footage in there, and Donald Trump and David Duke, who was the Grand Wizard of the KKK in the movie and at the time in real life, who obviously endorsed Trump, and you know Trump's been on the news. This ain't me just talking, but talking about these were very fine people at the rally after a young woman had gotten killed, and that. So my whole thing just sticking on Spike was he captured something that, you know, it's timeless, but it was really true. So 40 years he can tell a story part that conveys to today, and that's what I want, not just with racism, but through positive and negative.
Right, just life in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because it's very important, and we need to become more inclusive. That's what we're all working towards, but society just has definitely a way of dividing, whether it's Cardi B and Nicki. It's like these are two talented people, two different people. Why come they both can't shine? Why come it always has to be one or the other? You know, LeBron and Michael Jordan, two totally different eras. Stop it.
You know what? And that's crazy. You know what? And then people start, and I completely agree with what you say. And it's funny because these are very relevant conversations in the barbershop, at homes, in general, on social media, and everybody, every day, and on national TV, from the Jalen Roses to people in music media and BET, right. All these people talking about, and it's like, it's kind of sad, you know, bring these things up, but it's like with the Tupac and being a fan of, just a huge fan of, we all, you know, grew up 90s, 2000, and those seeing the Pac and Biggie. Yeah. And that was really those are two brothers who started out like this.
Right.
And that's facts. This is documented, them having drinks, smoking blunts, rapping on ciphers, being and you see what happens. I'm not gonna just pit it on white folk media, but the media definitely play. I'm looking at the media definitely, whether it's white, black, green, because Complex, that's black, whether it's CNN, that's white, all of them played a part. And the vibe, putting it East versus West with Diddy and Big on that classic cover. And these are things like, that shit wasn't even necessary. You hear a testament, another great legend and icon who I've worked with. Icon is the definition of this man, Snoop Dogg. When he did Empire and he did his co-star role, I was booked that day as a featured on that show, and he brought me to the back, and we got a picture of it, which is on my IMDb, and we just talked it up, and he was really, really genuine and talking about that era of him and Pac and the bullshit. He just said it was just really bullshit. Yeah. Which is really what it was.
It ended up costing them both their lives.
His friend, and he said, fuck the music, excuse me, I'm sorry my language, but it's really passionate. He just, because it is irrelevant. And it makes me mad just as a black man, because it's like, to see it happen still to this day, in Chicago especially, with this stupid, and the music's not stupid, but the actions behind the drill and what the people, and I know there's things like, I'm not disrespecting anybody's nation, what their family's been in, what they believe, but when it has to get to a point of just stupid, unnecessary, I will never back away from that, because people gotta use their brain, and at the end of the day, just to stay on point, like, the divide and conquer is so real, so I feel like if the people could just be like, look, I don't really know what you're trying to do, but let me try to understand it, and at the end of the day, art is a process, so you can't really just look at it at the beginning and say, this is what it's going to be. Right. They're going to love it. They're going to hate it. Right. You just do your best effort, and let God follow with what it will be. And just be more receptive of other people's ideas, be it in your own community or others, and not just lose the ego. Don't lose the respect for yourself or the pride, but just lose the ego and the entitlement.
Yeah, because it's a fine line between arrogance and confidence. They're two totally different things. Vanity. It's two. You can appreciate yourself. You can love yourself. You can think you're the most beautiful person in the world. But if you're vain,
you're ugly inside. Yeah.
That's an ugliness inside.
Facts. You don't want to be around it. And to keep it on community and keep it on like honest. Like, it's sad because when I was talking about when I was getting passionate about we was talking about someone who just got.
You talking about Snoop and
Tupac. So the stick on the East versus West, and I was looking at that cover, and then recently actually just going through on social media, and it was like, man, not just on a business standpoint, because obviously hip hop and rap is the #1 genre of music in the world, which it has been, but it was officially stated from the people, you know,
right
those
now
people. Right, it's official over rock and roll, which has been for the last 20 years. So we didn't need that, but at the end of the day, to see who the pillars were at that point, and it's not even just like music. I'll keep it in recent and to keep it on a more intellectual perspective with let's keep it with like politics and Obama. People was trying to divide Obama by saying, you know, he does things for the people but not for black people, or he ain't done nothing for Chicago, or he ain't done like look and this the look, and I clearly. Like, as Spike Lee was like, we wasn't falling for the okie doke. The real ones of us who knew, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Obama is about the people, not just black, for everyone. You've seen the gay marriages, you've seen you seen, there was a spike in you know, police brutality and killings, but at the same time, Obama was on the front line. Obama was out here showing his emotions. You see these things going on with Trump. He don't even acknowledge the brother who saved the people out in the Waffle House. I'm mad I can't remember his name. The James, the black man.
Somebody got saved in the Waffle House.
It was a while ago, but 4 people got killed. But the brother, your black man, discharged the gun, and I think whether he got the shooter away, whether he assaulted him, shot at him, but he did something. And he saved more than 4 people in the game. No word of it. That's why you didn't hear of it. Obama, and it's not just a black white. Obama was about that, and I think like more inclusive. Not even just down politics, more inclusive minds need to be
just in the media, because when the media thrives off destruction, you know, because oh my gosh, you know, Chicago's a beautiful city, but all you hear about is, you know, the massacre of Chicago was 30. It's always something negative. You know, it's always a negative connotation when you deal with a president that likes that negativity and that chaos as well, and he just blends right on in, unless it's against him, of course.
Right.
We ain't gonna get into all that.
No, yeah.
We gonna lighten it up.
Yeah, let's lighten it up.
What are the holidays like with y'all? When everybody's together, when you got Yar, you got all the nieces and nephews, and you got your little something, your little bread.
That's our little bread. Love you, Braylon. Yeah. What's the holidays?
I mean, are y'all sitting up doing skits?
So recently, the most recent holiday, there was a time, because you can imagine she's always on the move, and she was here for Christmas, and we went to Priscilla's on the south side.
Okay.
Shout out Priscilla. And we slammed. They had the feast table. We had the, you know, mimosas, the moed, and we had the good mac and cheese chicken. We had the what's it called? Secretary Jesse White walked in when we was eating.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. I got a picture with him and Yara at the same time, and he recognized Yara through Blackish. And when we told her who he was through our state and with tumbling, and so all that and everything. So basically, when we do get around in family functions and events, it's very laid back. It's very not. Yeah. It's not very like Hollywood. It's not a production. We just kick it. Of course, being us, you know, naturally, you know, talented or animated, kind of goofy in this industry family. Yeah. When we do play games, it can get kind of like, are they really acting? Are they really being like serious? But it's like, no, we just. Because my niece has literally I thought she was giving me an Emmy or Oscar performance, but she was just playing Taboo. And I couldn't guess what it was. And so these are things like dealing since she was a kid. So yeah, it's always love, always like good reception. And when I see them, I just always also want to learn game. Like I said, she's 18, I'm 27, I'll be 28 in January. And still just learning, well, no matter how much I just keep progressing and God keeps blessing me to live. The position, it doesn't matter to me. If you 18, my age, 38, 48, 58, you're fooled not to listen to somebody who just is in a position that you want to be with the integrity. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, I know people who are in places, but they're not the kind of person that I want to be or be around to do business with. And that is a big difference. Like, if you see people that's... Go ahead, I'm sorry. I see that you got to talk.
No. I'm agreeing with you.
That's people that you get to a certain place, and it's whether it's a celebrity or somebody just behind the scenes or an everyday Joe or just everyday woman, just attitude means a lot. So it's just like to see the people like my niece with integrity, like we was talking about, the prowess, her pride, but to also still have humility, respect, be down to earth, humble. I can talk to her, and she knows where she's at in this world in life. She's not like she's signed with CAA. That's Creative Artists Agency. That's the second largest, right next to William Morris Endeavors in Beverly Hills. The Rock, Tom Cruise,
Will Smith,
they all out. Yep.
I believe so.
Because it's WME, William Morris Endeavors, and CA. But those are the two powerhouses. Yeah. Where all the big A-listers are.
A couple of big ones that's just like boom.
So where y'all see the blockbusters so she's out there, but to just see that. You wouldn't even know. So honestly, she goes through, you know, sometimes I'm in public with her. I've been out there in the Grove and the Americana in Los Angeles. Right. And to see, you know, you used to watch TMZ in your living room in Chicago, whatever cities you live in or places, this is one thing, but when you see them cameras run up in real time and you stand out there and just for her to handle it at 18. I know me personally, I know a lot of us personally, at 18, even now, it's still to be that composed and to be that
poised,
and it's like we was talking about Mike and LeBron, like and seeing your father here, like I know he can love and respect the game like me. LeBron, from an early age, I was in middle school when LeBron was, going out of high school. And my father always told me, watch how this man talks. Watch how he goes at the meeting as a junior, as a high school. And I would be maybe 7th, 6th grade, and I watch him when they was going to high school.
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Posture was always.
That respect.
They gave that man respect, and that's why to this day you don't hear nobody get. And I mean, clearly his actions with the school, which I salute them to the fullest. His actions and things contribute to having great success said about him. But even before that, he brought that upon himself. His mannerisms. That's what I'm looking for. Yes, ma'am. He demanded that off the respect.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing that I do bring, not try to, because that's another thing in my vocabulary. Eliminate try, do.
Yes.
So I do have the prowess of giving respect, but I also demand it not in a physical or not in a tonality type way, but just in the sense of I'm going to carry myself with poise, not as a black man, but as a man.
Right.
And also just as a human and a child of God. So you're going to respect me, and I'm going to respect you. But if we've always had this conversation off camera, people go left, there's other ways to go left about it. But I don't even like thinking of it. But I stay, and then, because usually if you do keep it right, people keep it right with you. But those ones that got something wrong with them, you see to steer away. And if they want to steer in the other lane with you, well, you're bound to get in a crash. That's all I got to say. So, don't start no, won't be no.
Don't start no.
And I'm going to leave it at
Be no stuff.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Matthew, tell everybody how they can contact you. This man is an actor, he's a writer, he's a director, he's a producer. He's doing a lot of big things out here in the community. He's, and he's just a down-to-earth, awesome guy. Always down to pitch in, always down to have a conversation. He's a conversationalist, okay? Get it right.
I gotta keep them conversational skills, man. That's honestly some
good guy. Yes.
Appreciate it. And honestly, so to reach me, so right now primarily doing a lot of business through Facebook, and I got IMDb, email. I do a lot through the texting and calling, but I am in the middle of setting up Instagram, Twitter. I have a Snapchat, Visionary Salt. I'm going through all that because before, just to keep it honest, didn't really want or need for the personal extra Instagram and Twitter, but now for the business aspect and having consistent revenue and also consistent business inquiries. Right. Just as a businessman, and I'm going to obtain that. So I'm in the process of making those. So probably will be under the handle names of FTC Productions. Just have to clarify which handles is available at the moment. But you can reach me at Matthew Salter on Facebook, which is just my full name, MATTHEW space SALTER, and then also same, you can search on IMDb, the same thing, Google. I'm creating a YouTube channel as well. So right now it's a lot more behind the scenes, and SAG, we're speaking on a little bit just the acting. The last interview before I talked more a little bit what I've done at that time, and since then, I told you about the Versace American Crime Story that I was going to do then. That aired a little bit after we had talked about that. So since then, I've done, shout out to Antoine Gomar, a friend of all of ours. I've done the independent entrepreneurs. I've done I've done a Corona commercial. It's about to air nationally. I gotta keep a couple of these on hush hush because it is NDA and this is public. So the Corona commercial was just here in Chicago. It was a really good cameo feature for myself, and as well as I don't even know if I can say the brand, but I'll just say there's the top 3 celebrity, or not celebrity, but pop female musician who is in the world that I had the fortunes of working with, and this is record sale. Now opinion is matter, but I'm just talking about one top 3 selling record artist. So it was a great humbling experience, and I had a featured SAG role with that. The brand will be disclosed too, but that will be coming out probably in the next 5 to 6 months, so like half a year. So we shot that last month. So everything is going well as far as in front of the camera, and I'm looking to start. And you said as far as I love to pitch in and help and conversationalize with people, be a conversationalist with people. Yes. I'm this is for everybody. This is the general populace, and also my great friends Marva and Racheal here. I'm in the process of I'm still doing executive producing for The Nest, which is the horror suspense thriller that will be coming out within the next year. I'm doing the executive producing title while I'm still doing my directing and writing and filmmaking for my documentary Blended.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the steps of looking to cast personal people, friends, and clientele for my next dramedy and dramatic work, which I've already written a whole first pilot and episode script to.
Woo,
so I'm trying to start filming that next year, and I got a lot of people in mind for a cast. It's a range of maybe
how exciting.
8 to 12 characters already, which is principal and co-starring characters, and I have also just a ton of extra characters I'm gonna need. So I got people in mind already, and yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. But yeah, Matthew Salter, just keep a lookout on all social media platforms, and you'll be updated with any other handles, any new business inquiries.
Awesome. It's been such a pleasure, just sitting here chatting with you and just kind of getting up to date. It seems like it's been a while since we just caught up and got up to date on everything that you have going on, and just leave us with something, to all those future filmmaker, writer, director, actors, just leave us with something, maybe something Spike told you,
Great.
Or just one of your mentors.
Well, Spike told me something that was always gonna stay in my mind, whether I'm making films or not. Be you. Really simple, and it's not something that you gotta think out of the box and just be you. He said since his first film, he said there was the pressure, like, because when he came in the game, there's maybe only one other black. There's like Robert Townsend was doing his thing, or Hollywood Shuffle, and Comedian Man, a couple things, but like there was no black director. Now you see. Literally the pioneer and trailblazer he set off for the Ryan Coogers of Black Panther, Fruitvale, just all these, myself, there's a lot of different people, and it's just like Mario Van Peebles, who his father was Melvin was a pioneer as well. So it's just like what Spike had told me is be you, and that's why when I'm behind the camera, when I'm in front of the camera, of course a different role is going to acquire you to have different acting and different capabilities. Different film is going to make you convey different emotions out of yourself, out of your actors and actresses, out of your staff. If it's an action film, y'all going to be moving a little faster. If it's a drama, like Fences, I'm sure they or a slave film, you're going to cry a little bit, you're going to have a little moment, or just even like, not even something, just a civil rights piece, something that just hit your ancestors, your peoples, hit that nerve, vein, and it's going to move different things. So basically my whole thing is stay authentic and be you. So whatever you're doing, don't do it for money. Because if you're doing anything in this world for money, whether it's coaching kids for basketball, whether you out here trying to cut people's grass, go cut your neighbors, cut the old woman's grass for free. Because you know what? One day when you really need it, she might just come out there and give you $50. Because you never asked, you're just doing the right. And it's not even about her giving it to you or not, but just do it out because it's the right thing. I'm out here trying to keep people in these movies, hire people. They don't even have to know about movies. You can hold a light, you can hold a sound boom and a mic. I just want to help and give people opportunities in our community, outside our community. If you are respectful, passionate, I can see you driven. So that matters. That's your application for me. You're passionate, respectful, and driven. You got a job with me.
All right.
We're going to make things happen. So I'm appreciative of you letting me have this platform with you, Racheal, Margaret, Mr. White, and everybody. Like, this has been a great conversation. Honestly, it feels like it's been a therapeutic conversation as well.
Right, yes.
The show just, got a lot on my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Yes, and on that note, you're on the scene. We'll see you next week, baby. Matthew Salter.
Thank you, guys.
This is the man right here.
Thank you, guys.
Till next time.
Thank y'all.